Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something fundamental, how success and wealth actually happen. If you're looking for a shortcut to understanding that link between your mindset and, well, what shows up in your life, this is for you. We've got a fascinating mix of sources today.
Yeah, three really distinct viewpoints. We've got Dr. Sam Adeyemi's 31 Days of Success. That's a guide using spiritual lessons, especially from Joseph's story. Then there's the classic James Allen's As a Man Thinketh, over 100 years old, but still so relevant about the power of our thoughts. And rounding it out, Rob Moore's very practical, modern entrepreneurial take on wealth creation today. It's quite a combination.
It really is, and our goal here is to pull out the common threads, Find the universal principles hiding in these different approaches. We want to show you how transforming yourself internally, getting clear on your purpose, and taking real action. They're not separate things. They're all connected. Paths that lead not just to money, but to a genuinely fulfilling life. We'll see how they build on each other. Okay, let's dive right in then. Where does this journey actually begin? Is there like a ground zero according to these books?
It's striking how much they agree on this. It starts inside. James Allen in As a Man Thinketh just lays it out there. He says, man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself.
Oh.
He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. It's all about your internal world shaping the external.
Wow, armory of thought. That's a powerful image. Like you're the blacksmith of your own mind. And he uses that garden analogy too, right? You, the listener, you're the gardener. If you don't plant good seeds.
Exactly. If you're not actively planting, useful, positive thoughts, then weeds, useless thoughts, negative patterns, they just take over by default. It's not passive. You have to cultivate it. And this isn't just Allen's idea in isolation. Dr. Adeyemi, coming from a more spiritual angle, he observes that people would prefer to blame others than accept personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob Moore, very pragmatically in Money, says that whole blame and complain attitude, it actually repels wealth.
Okay, so across the board, philosophy, spirituality, business, it boils down to the same first step, taking total personal responsibility for your thoughts, your attitude, where your life is headed. It's like that's the non-negotiable entry ticket.
Precisely. And Moore's point about repelling wealth, it's not just woo-woo, it's about agency. When you blame, you're basically saying you're not in control. So why would opportunity or wealth flow to you? Taking responsibility is like reclaiming your power, saying, okay, my internal state drives my external results. You shift from being a victim to being the architect.
Right, got it. So cultivating that internal garden, taking ownership, that's fundamental. But a garden needs direction, doesn't it? Once you've got that internal clarity, how do you point that energy somewhere specific? What's the map?
That's where vision and purpose really kick in. Adeyemi talks about vision as foresight built on insight and hindsight. It's what makes dreams possible. And he has this great phrase, cream your dream.
Cream your dream. What's that about?
It means refining it, focusing on the absolute essential core of what you want to achieve, and letting go of the fluff, the distractions, really getting clear on the non-negotiables.
Okay, distilling it down. And Alan talks about purpose too, doesn't he? Something about making it the central point of your thoughts.
Yes, exactly. A man should conceive of a legitimate purpose in his heart and set out to accomplish it. He stresses making it the centralizing point. This isn't just a whim. A legitimate purpose for Allen seems to be something deeply aligned with who you are, your values, maybe your unique talents.
So not just something you want, but something you feel genuinely driven to do.
I think so. It's got to have that internal resonance, that why, that keeps you going when things get tough. Because Adeyemi makes it very clear. Challenges will come.
Oh yeah, he doesn't pull any punches there. A path without obstacles leads nowhere. He calls greatness a journey through a jungle with wild beasts. He even says those bitter experiences are the training ground. So how do you actually face those beasts without freezing up?
Well, that clear vision, that creamed dream and purpose, that's your compass in the jungle. It keeps you oriented. And Rob Moore adds a really practical piece of advice here. Get perfect later. Get started now.
I like that. Permission to not have it all figured out.
Exactly. It fights that paralysis by analysis. You learn, you adapt, you conquer those beasts by moving, not by waiting until the path is perfectly clear, which it never is, right?
Right. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. Okay, so we've got the mindset, the vision, the willingness to start. What about the doing? How does this translate into day-to-day action that actually builds something?
Action is the bridge. Adeyemi is very direct. Hard work or hard life. He says God might give the vision, but without hard work, it is impossible. He uses Joseph's story brilliantly, being faithful in small things, like managing Potiphar's house or even tasks in prison. That faithfulness wasn't just about being good, it was about building competence, proving responsibility. That's what leads to fruitfulness, to bigger opportunities.
So it connects back to responsibility again. And Alan reinforces this too, right? The thought factor in achievement.
Absolutely. Allen says everything you achieve or fail to achieve stems directly from your thoughts. But the unspoken part is those thoughts have to fuel action. Purposeful, diligent action.
Makes sense. Thoughts are the plan, action builds the house. How does Moore frame this interaction with the world, especially around money?
Moore offers a really powerful reframe. He says, selling is serving, solving, and caring. It flips the script on selling being pushy or manipulative. His point is, money changes hands by choice. People give you money because they believe what they're getting in return is more valuable to them than the money itself. That's fair exchange.
Fair exchange, that's key. But selling still feels uncomfortable for a lot of people. How does that connect to the serving part?
Well, if you genuinely believe you are solving a problem or adding value, then selling just becomes the mechanism for delivering that solution or value. It's service. Shifting your focus to the service aspect helps overcome that fear of rejection. Moore puts it very simply. If you want to increase the money you receive, then increase your service and value, and you will get more money from more people willingly and with gratitude. It's not zero sum, it's value creation. Both parties benefit.
Okay, so internal work, clear vision, purposeful action, focusing on service and fair exchange. Now, let's talk specifically about the money itself. How does it actually work according to Moore?
Right. Moore really demystifies it in money. First, he says money has no inherent nature. It's just a tool. We project meaning onto it. Second, it naturally loses value over time due to inflation. And third, this is crucial, money flows from those who understand and value, at least to those who understand and value it most. It's about financial literacy, not morality.
Flows from those who understand it least to those who understand it most. That's quite a statement. So understanding money is vital. What about the flow part? He says hoarding is bad.
Yes, very clearly. Money needs to move and flow to function. This is why saving, storing, and hoarding money will never make you wealthy. He talks about the velocity of money. Think of it like circulation in the body. Stagnant money, like just saving cash under the mattress, actually loses purchasing power. He even brings up the law of vacuum prosperity, the idea that if you create space, like by investing wisely in assets or yourself, money naturally flows in to fill that void. You need outflow to have inflow.
That's counterintuitive to how many of us were taught about saving. So if money flows through people, how we tap into that flow feels a bit abstract.
Well, Moore quotes Bob Proctor saying, money does not come from people, it comes through people. That's liberating. It's not a limited resource you fight for, it's a current. And with things like 6 degrees of separation, Moore argues you're much closer to vast sums of money than you realize. It's about plugging into the network by providing value.
Okay, so it's about value exchange within a network. And Moore talks a lot about leverage too, doesn't he? Earning a little from a lot instead of a lot just from yourself.
Exactly. That's the shift from linear income, trading your time for money, to scalable income. Your own time is limited. Leverage means getting more output for your input. He breaks it down. Leverage people, teams, mentors, leverage systems, automation, processes that work without you, and leverage ideas information. Think about creating an online course or writing a book you create at once, potentially sell it millions of times. That's leveraging an idea. It's about building things that generate value beyond your direct hour-by-hour effort.
Working smarter, fundamentally. How do you keep all that organized, though? It sounds like it could get complex.
That's where his VVKI system comes in handy. It stands for Vision, Values, KRAs, Key Result Areas, IGTs, Income Generating Tasks, and KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. The key is working top-down. Start with your big vision, your creamed dream. Align your values. Define the KRAs needed to achieve the vision. Then identify the specific IGTs, the actions that actually make money or directly advance those KRAs. And finally, use KPIs to measure if your IGTs are working. Most people get lost in the weeds, focusing on tasks, bottom up. This framework forces you to constantly ask, does this task serve my ultimate vision? It cuts out the noise.
Vision first, then tasks that serve it. That makes a lot of sense for focus. And underpinning all this strategy is investing in yourself.
Absolutely central. Moore says, you are your best asset. Invest in yourself wisely. The more you learn, the more you earn. It's not just a nice phrase. He sees it as the highest ROI investment you can make. Your skills, your knowledge, your network, these compound over time. All our authors touch on this. Alan's self-mastery, Adeyemi's faithfulness and learning, Moore's direct link between learning and earning.
Right. Okay, so strategy, action, self-investment. But what about the emotional side? Building anything significant takes time. There are ups and downs. How important is emotional management?
Hugely important. Moore quotes Warren Buffett, quote, "Until you can manage your emotions, don't expect to have wealth." He lists things like worry, guilt, envy, impatience. These aren't just unpleasant feelings. They actively sabotage wealth creation. Worrying about lack can attract more lack because your focus amplifies it. Impulsive emotional decisions are usually bad financial decisions.
And Adeyemi warns about impatience being fatal, leading to big mistakes. Moore echoes that, right? Saying impatience makes you overpay or get bad deals.
Precisely. It's a strategic disadvantage. And Alan brings it back to that internal state again with serenity. He calls it a beautiful jewel of wisdom. This calm, centered state, achieved through self-control, allows for clear thinking, even when things are chaotic. He argues that serenity is worth more than gold because it protects you from reactive mistakes.
Serenity is a financial tool.
Yeah.
Interesting perspective. And Adeyemi also talks about forgiveness, doesn't he? How does that fit in?
Yes, his perspective is spiritual forgive because you've been forgiven. But Moore highlights the practical benefit, too. Holding on to bitterness or envy, things like that, consumes enormous mental and emotional energy. Letting go, forgiving, frees up that energy. It allows you to redirect your focus towards positive growth and opportunities. It's like clearing sludge from your internal engine.
So emotional intelligence has a direct return on investment. And thinking long-term, Moore talks about compounding and that initial effort, right?
Yeah, the getting off the ground analogy, like a rocket needing most of its fuel just to break orbit. Starting something new often requires disproportionate effort initially. It feels harder at the beginning. But if you persist, compounding takes over, leverage kicks in, and things become much easier, more efficient down the line. Patience is key to getting through that initial high-effort phase.
Which ties back perfectly to Adeyemi's final principle. Be patient with the process. Success is an instant. It's a journey with stages, setbacks. But persistence, fueled by that vision and self-mastery, gets you there. Wow. Okay, what a journey through these ideas, from mastering your thoughts and taking responsibility, to setting a clear vision, acting with service, strategically managing money and leverage, handling your emotions, and having patience through it all.
Exactly. And the big takeaway, the common thread. Success and wealth aren't just luck or birthright. They're based on learnable principles, a system. Like Moore says, what's needed is education on how to manage and master money. Your ability to learn, adapt, and invest in yourself, that's the ultimate leverage.
So for everyone listening, here's something to think about. How connected are your daily thoughts to your current financial situation? If your mind is that garden, what seeds are you consciously planting today? And how can you use that inner mastery, combined with strategic action, to not just build wealth, but to genuinely serve others and make a real impact? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.
Have you ever found yourself, just dreaming of financial freedom?
Oh, constantly.
That powerful feeling of security, right? Being actually in control of your future instead of, well, your money controlling you.
It's definitely something most people aspire to. It feels universal.
Yeah, it really does. But if you've ever tried to figure out how to get there, the advice can be, well, it's kind of a mess.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Like a swirling vortex, as you said. You get bombarded with everything from save every penny for like 50 years to find a shortcut, hustle like crazy, get rich tomorrow.
Exactly. It's enough to make your head spin, maybe even just freeze up.
Totally. Paralyzed by too many choices, maybe.
And that's precisely what we're digging into today. We're calling this deep dive Navigating the Roads to Wealth, the disciplined path versus the fast lane.
Okay.
We're going to explore two really distinct philosophies, both super passionate but coming from very different places. First, we'll look at Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover.
Right, the classic. Very clear plan, focused on financial fitness, behavior, simple steps you can actually take.
Yeah, very actionable. And then we're going to shift gears completely. We'll dive into MJ DeMarco's The Millionaire Fast Lane.
Which is, let's say, a bit more controversial.
Definitely. He directly challenges that whole get rich slow idea. He pushes for, well, a faster way through entrepreneurship.
So our mission for you today is really to pull out the key nuggets from both of these. We want to highlight their core ideas, where they surprisingly maybe agree, and where they just fundamentally differ.
The goal is so you can get a better handle on which path, or maybe even parts of each path, might resonate with your own journey.
Makes sense. Where should we start?
Okay, let's start right at the foundation, because this is where they really, plant their flags. It sets up everything else.
The core belief system.
Exactly. Dave Ramsey, she famously says, personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% head knowledge.
Right. That's his mantra.
For him, the big problem isn't that finance is too complex. It's, as he puts it, the guy in my mirror.
It's about self-control.
Discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about doing it. He really stresses that his plan isn't trying to be sophisticated or complicated. It's based on profound and life-changing truths that are actually very simple.
So, consistent action, day after day, control yourself, control your money.
That's the essence. Now, what's fascinating is how DeMarco just comes right out against that.
Yeah, it's a direct counter. He doesn't offer some complex financial product either, but he frames his millionaire fast lane differently. He calls it a yellow brick road caved in psychology and mathematics that put odds of massive wealth in your favor.
Psychology and mathematics. Okay.
He's not just saying get rich faster. He actually argues that get rich slow is a, quote, dream destroyer.
Wow. Strong words.
Very. He says it criminally asks you to barter your freedom for freedom. Like, trade your youthful freedom now for freedom when you're old.
So he sees it as a bad trade. A terrible trade. He calls himself the anti-guru of get rich slow. His whole point is that old age is not a prerequisite to wealth or retirement. He's challenging that fundamental assumption.
That is a really stark contrast. So Ramsey's saying, fix your behavior, be patient. DeMarco's saying, the slow system itself is flawed. Find a faster strategic route.
You nailed it. Ramsey focuses on the internal your habits. DeMarco focuses on the external your strategy within the system.
Okay, so given these polar opposite starting points, you'd think they'd clash on everything.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But there's one big thing where they're surprisingly on the same page, and that's debt.
Absolutely. Both Ramsey and DeMarco see debt as a major enemy, a huge obstacle.
Ramsey's stance is legendary, right? Almost religious.
It really is. He lives by that proverb, the borrower is slave to the lender. And for him, it's personal. He went broke himself, lost everything because of, as he says, stupidity in handling money.
So he learned the hard way.
The hardest way. So for him, debt is never a tool, never leverage. It just brings on enough risk to offset any advantage, period.
And he loves busting those common debt myths, doesn't he? The things we just kind of accept.
Oh yeah, like loaning money to family or friends. He says forget blessing, it's usually a curse, ruins relationships.
And co-signing.
Big no-no. He says you're not really helping, you're just setting yourself up to pay the loan and wreck your credit. Banks want a cosigner for a reason, right?
Good point. What else?
The whole idea that car payments are normal, just a part of life, he pushes back hard. Says real millionaires often drive reliable used cars, paid for.
Not the flashy new ones.
Right. And he does the math. That average, say, $495 car payment, if you invested that monthly for 40 years at 12%, that's $5.6 million.
Wow. Okay, that hits home.
Yeah. And leasing. He calls it the most expensive way to operate a vehicle, often has crazy high effective interest rates, like 14% average.
It's not sophisticated, it's just expensive.
Basically. He also tackles debit versus credit card risk. Says Visa gives the same fraud protection anyway.
What about paying off credit cards monthly for the points? The free money argument.
Yeah, he debunks that too. Cites studies showing people spend way more, like 47% more, when using credit instead of cash.
Ouch.
And those airline miles or points, he says something like 90% never even get redeemed.
Seriously, 90%.
That's what he claims. So the free money maybe isn't so free if it makes you overspend. And giving a teen a credit card for responsibility, he compares it to giving them a loaded weapon, exposes them to kid branding and debt habits early.
Okay, his stance is crystal clear. Debt is bad, avoid it like the plague. So how does he suggest people actually get out if they're already drowning in it?
That's his famous debt snowball. It's pretty straightforward, behaviorally smart.
How does it work?
You list all your debts, smallest balance to largest balance. You ignore the interest rates for this part.
Ignore the interest rates.
For the listing, yeah. Then you pay the absolute minimum on everything except the smallest debt, and that smallest one. You attack it with what he calls gazelle intensity.
Gazelle intensity.
Yeah, like you're a gazelle running from a cheetah. Throw every single extra penny you can find at it. Sell stuff if you have to. Get intense.
Okay.
Once that smallest debt is gone, boom. You take all the money you were paying on it, the minimum payment plus all the extra, and you roll it onto the next smallest debt.
Ah, so the payment amount snowballs bigger and bigger.
Exactly. The key is the psychological win. Paying off those small debts quickly gives you momentum, makes you feel like you're winning. That keeps you motivated. It requires focus, stopping all borrowing, and maybe selling the boat or the extra car if you can't clear the debt fast, say in 18, 20 months.
That makes sense. The quick wins build hope. Now, DeMarco, coming from his fast lane angle, he also hates debt, right? But maybe for slightly different reasons.
Yeah, he sees it as a massive obstacle too, but frames it maybe more in terms of lost opportunity. He calls things like car loans, mortgages, credit cards, parasitic debt.
Parasitic. Why that word?
Because it literally sucks the life out of your freedom. He says it's a counterweight that steals your free time, your energy, your health, and ultimately your freedom to pursue bigger things. It anchors you to the slow lane.
So it prevents the speed he advocates for.
Precisely. And he also specifically calls out education servitude.
What's that?
That's when you take on huge student loan debt for an expensive degree, and then you're basically forced to take a certain job, maybe one you don't even like, just to pay back those loans for decades.
Right. It limits your choices, traps you.
Exactly. It directly prevents you from taking the kind of intelligent risks he thinks are necessary for the fast lane. They're stuck.
Okay, so they both agree debt is terrible, it limits freedom. But how do they suggest you actually build wealth once the debt is gone, or if you're starting clean? Ramsey, we know, is the long game guy.
Yeah, his core strategy is consistency. Invest 15% of your gross income every year into good growth stock-type mutual funds. He aims for something like a 12% average annual return, similar to historical S&P 500 returns.
And tools like Roth IRAs, 401ks.
Absolutely. He's big on those tax-advantaged accounts. He really relies on the magic of compound interest, working over many, many years to build retirement security and give you choices later in life. Patience is key.
Okay, standard advice, makes sense. But here's where DeMarco probably just laughs, right?
No, he doesn't just laugh. He actively mocks it. He calls compound interest way too slow. He says it's mathematically imprisoned by time.
Imprisoned by time.
Yeah. He gives these examples like a $1,000 Roth IRA maybe only grows to about $700 in 10 years after inflation, or investing $1,000 in the S&P 500 back in 1940. Sure, it makes you a millionaire by the time you're 91 years old.
91. Okay, point taken.
He finds that ridiculous. He literally asks, how does anyone get excited over this crap? For him, waiting until you're old isn't the goal. It's a failure of strategy.
So if compound interest is crap, in his view, what's his alternative? What's the fast lane wealth equation?
It's actually pretty simple on the surface. Wealth equals net profit plus asset value.
Net profit plus asset value.
Okay. The secret sauce is what he calls CUL, controllable unlimited leverage.
CUL.
Yeah. Think about creating a piece of software once. You can sell it 1,000,000 times without redoing the work for each customer. That's leverage. You control it, and the upside is potentially unlimited. It detaches your income from your time spent working.
Okay, I get the leverage part. What about the wealth acceleration factor he mentioned?
Right, the way UF. This is key. It means that increasing your net profit doesn't just add that profit to your wealth. It can multiply the value of the underlying asset, your business, significantly.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine a small local shop making a $100,000 net profit a year. It might sell for what, maybe 200K, 300Ks, a 2x or 3x multiplier.
Okay, sounds reasonable.
But now take a scalable tech business, maybe a software company, also making a $100,000 net profit. Because of its potential to grow fast, its efficiency, its scalability, it might be valued at 600K, maybe $1 million, or even more. That's like a 6x or 10x multiplier.
Wow, same profit, vastly different value.
Exactly. That higher multiplier is the wealth acceleration factor in action. The type of business dramatically changes how much your profit translates into overall asset value.
And this leads to his idea of liquidation events.
Yes. For DeMarco, massive wealth is often created relatively quickly by selling these highly valuable, scalable assets, these businesses. That's how he became a millionaire himself by his early 30s, selling his company.
That's a fundamentally different way of thinking about wealth creation than investing 15% for 40 years.
Night and day. One is slow, steady accumulation. The other is building and selling high-value systems.
This brings us to mindset, doesn't it? Because you'd need a different mindset for each path. Both authors stress mindset and choice, but frame it differently. Ramsey talks about hurdles to his total money makeover. What's the first big one?
Denial. He has this vivid image. Financially fat people sucking in their stomachs when they look in the mirror.
Huh.
Meaning people pretend their finances are okay or just ignore the reality. until it becomes undeniable, usually in a crisis.
Makes sense. What's another hurdle?
Ignorance. Not stupidity, he clarifies, but just genuinely not knowing how money works because nobody ever taught them. Basic financial literacy is often missing.
That's definitely true for a lot of people.
Then there's the classic, keeping up with the Joneses. That pressure to look successful drives people to do, quote, insane things financially. He points to the millionaire next door. Research: real millionaires often live below their means, modest houses, older cars, security over status.
Right? The opposite of the flashy stereotype. He tells a story about that, doesn't he, Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah changing her family's big, expensive Christmas gift tradition caused a huge fuss initially, but ultimately helped them get their finances in order. It takes courage to go against the grain.
And the final Ramsey hurdle, the big one.
The pain of change. His insight is that people generally won't make hard changes until the pain of staying where they are is worse than the pain of changing.
Like kneading the rash before changing the diaper, as he says.
Exactly that analogy. Discomfort has to become unbearable first.
Okay, now, DeMarco also hammers on personal responsibility, but from his fast lane view, he talks about life's steering wheel.
Right. His core message there is blunt. Your life is the sum result of all the choices you make. Own it.
And he uses this really strong term, treasonous choices. What does he mean by that? Treasonous.
It sounds extreme, right? Treason against yourself. He means actions that cause irreparable harm to your future potential and freedom. Things you can't easily undo.
Like what?
He gives examples like drunk driving, like Andre's story in the book, or criminal activity, like Michael Vick. Choices with massive, life-altering negative consequences that slam the door on future opportunities. The stakes are high.
So it's about recognizing the huge impact of your decisions. He also talks about the butterfly effect, right? Small choices having big downstream effects.
Yeah, minor decisions today can totally change your path years from now. And it's not just actions, it's perception too. Your beliefs dictate your actions. If you want extraordinary results, you need extraordinary thinking. You have to challenge norms.
And you need to manage your environment. Headwinds and tailwinds.
Definitely. Society's get-rich-slow message, negative people, dream stealers, those are all headwinds. He says it's like towing a trailer full of wet manure.
He doesn't mince words.
Not at all. You have to actively seek tailwinds, find supportive people, mentors, communities, like-minders. And a huge one for him is time valuation.
How you value your time.
Time is the ultimate resource. Everyone gets 24 hours. Value your time poorly, and you will be poor. He's really critical of wasting hours on passive stuff like TV or endless social media scrolling. He sees it as an escape for people whose life sucks, not a path to improving it.
So it's about being intentional with time, and not just interested, but committed.
Huge distinction for him. Interest reads a book. Commitment applies the book 50 times. You need real commitment, which means focusing, like monogamy, to one fast-lane business idea at first, not chasing shiny objects.
What about risk? Fastlane sounds risky.
He differentiates. Take intelligent risks, where the potential downside is limited, like maybe losing the time and money you invested starting a business. But the potential upside is huge, unlimited. Avoid moronic risks, like gambling, where the downside is potentially bottomless and the upside is capped. Failure isn't final, it builds wisdom.
And his final mindset point.
Someday is today. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan. Waiting just breeds mediocrity. Start now.
Okay, powerful mindset stuff from both, just aimed differently. For listeners who are now thinking, okay, this fast lane business idea sounds intriguing, DeMarco has specific rules, right? The 5 commandments for a fast lane business.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to build a business that fits his model, it needs to meet these 5 criteria. First is need.
Neat.
Yeah. He says stop chasing money and start chasing needs. Solve problems, address pain points. Businesses built just because the founder wants money tend to fail. Money follows value creation, that whole do-what-you-love thing. Only works if what you love solves a real need and you're amazing at it.
Okay, solve problems first. What's commandment 2?
Entry, as in barriers to entry. If anyone can start the same business tomorrow with $50, the competition will be brutal and margins will be thin.
Like his gold rush analogy.
Exactly. In a gold rush, don't dig for gold, sell shovels. Find a business with higher barriers to entry, something harder to replicate instantly. This is partly why he critiques MLM entry is too easy for participants, making it saturated.
Makes sense. Number 3.
Control. This is huge for him. You absolutely must control your business, pricing, marketing, product development, operations, the whole thing.
Don't be reliant on someone else's platform or rules.
Precisely. Avoid being a hitchhiker. He puts franchises and MLMs. Often in this category, you're playing in someone else's sandbox by their rules. You don't own the brand, the system. He says, invest in your brand only.
Okay. Need, entry, control, what's for?
Scale. Your business needs the potential to impact millions to make millions. Scale can mean reach, serving lots of customers, or it can mean magnitude, serving fewer customers, but with a very high profit per customer.
So a local coffee shop lacks scale.
On its own, yes. Unless you plan to build a huge franchise system like Starbucks.
Yeah.
But even then, DeMarco argues selling the franchises is the more scalable fast lane business than just running a few shops. Scale is about potential impact.
Got it. And the fifth and final commandment?
Time. This is crucial for the freedom aspect. The business must be able to operate and generate income independently of your direct, hour-by-hour involvement. It needs to be a system that works for you.
Passive income, essentially?
Yes, or at least income detached from your time. He gives examples like subscription models. Imagine 20,000 people paying $50 a month. That's $1 million in revenue monthly. Or software systems, content systems like books or courses, distribution networks, lead generation systems. The key is detaching income from time.
That's the ultimate goal for fast lane freedom.
That's the whole point. Build a system that prints money while you sleep, essentially.
Wow. Okay, so there we have it. Two really powerful, but yeah, profoundly different maps to get to financial well-being. You've got Dave Ramsey offering that disciplined, behavior-first path. Get out of debt with intensity, invest consistently, let compound interest work its magic over decades. Very step-by-step.
Solid, proven, patient.
Then you have MJ DeMarco basically throwing down the gauntlet to that traditional path. He's advocating for building a specific type of business, one with need, entry barriers, control, scale, and time detachment to create wealth much faster through leverage and system building.
Aggressive, entrepreneurial, focused on speed and control.
But even though their methods and timelines are worlds apart, they do share some really important common ground, don't they?
They absolutely do. Both hammer on extreme personal responsibility, no excuses. Both stress the need for education, even if they emphasize different kinds. Both see debt as incredibly destructive, a freedom killer.
And both recognize that mindset is everything. Whether it's the discipline to follow the baby steps or the courage and thinking required for the fast lane, your head has to be in the right place.
Couldn't agree more. Mindset underpins both approaches.
So as you, our listener, reflect on these two journeys, these very different ways to think about money and wealth, what is your current financial roadmap looking like? Are you carefully laying that foundation, brick by brick, focused on eliminating debt and patiently trusting in long-term compounding, that disciplined path? Or are you feeling that pull to engineer something different, a system designed to accelerate wealth, to detach your income from your time, to maybe take that fast lane approach?
And maybe the most important question.
Yeah.
What choices, starting today, what concrete actions will truly put you in the driver's seat of your financial future, regardless of which road you feel drawn to? Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're plunging into, well, a topic that resonates with nearly everyone, the pursuit of success and wealth. And we're not just glancing at it. We're taking a truly fascinating deep dive, blending insights from some incredibly diverse sources.
Yeah, quite a mix.
We've got Napoleon Hill's seminal work, Think and Grow Rich. Then there's the revealing sort of data-driven modern research in Millionaire Next Door.
Right, the practical side.
And the timeless parables from the Richest Man in Babylon. It's quite a journey across centuries and different approaches, all aiming at, one core question. How do we truly achieve prosperity?
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how universal these principles seem to be. Connecting ancient Babylonian wisdom with these hard-won observations from modern millionaires.
Right.
Our mission today really is to cut through the noise, maybe challenge some common misconceptions about wealth, and reveal surprisingly consistent truths, across time and cultures.
And hopefully pull out something useful for you listening.
Exactly. More importantly, we're here to extract actionable insights for you, whether you're just starting a business, maybe dreaming of financial independence, or just seeking a richer, more fulfilling life that, extends well beyond just money. 1, the starting point. Igniting a burning desire.
So let's begin where, well, all great achievements apparently start, according to Napoleon Hill anyway. Not with just a simple wish, but with a burning desire and a definite purpose.
That's the foundation he lays.
He's quite adamant that weak desires lead directly to weak results. Almost like our brains get, I don't know, magnetized with our dominating thoughts.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That's a pretty powerful claim, isn't it? What's sort of psychological alchemy happening there? Is it intense visualization or a shift in identity or maybe something deeper that makes these people act so relentlessly?
It's precisely that sense of internal alchemy, as you put it. Hill is really emphatic. Desire isn't just, a fleeting wish you make on a birthday candle. It's an intense, persistent, almost obsessive state of mind. And look, this isn't just a 20th century idea.
No.
The Richest Man in Babylon echoes this. It says, "In the strength of thine own desires is a magic power." It's about more than just wanting something. It's about deciding and then holding on to that decision with this unwavering intensity that reshapes your internal landscape.
Okay.
And consequently, your external actions.
So it's not just a nice thought. It's like an internal furnace fueling everything.
Absolutely. A furnace is a great way to put it. And you see this played out time and again in the sources. Take Hill's own story, which is deeply personal and quite moving, about his son, Blair,
Oh, yeah.
born without the ability to hear or speak. Now, despite what doctors said, Hill just refused to accept it. His desire, backed by faith, as he called it, propelled him.
Wow.
He eventually discovered Blair could actually hear when spoken to through his mastoid bone, and through years of relentless, almost obsessive effort. Yeah, years. Blair not only learned to speak, but eventually turned that perceived handicap into an asset. He actually inspired a hearing aid manufacturer. It wasn't just hope. It was a consuming, definite purpose.
Wow, that's truly astonishing.
Yeah.
To take something that everyone considers an insurmountable obstacle and just through sheer force of will and desire, transform it, turn it into an advantage. That really reframes what's possible, doesn't it?
It really does.
It suggests the intensity of that want can literally bend reality.
It certainly feels that way when you look at these examples. Consider Edwin C. Barnes. Here's a guy with an unwavering desire to become Thomas Edison's business partner.
Just like that.
Well, he didn't just send a resume. He literally rode freight trains to Edison's lab, walked in, and declared his definite desire to go into business with him, not just get a job.
Bold move.
Very. He started in the most menial role imaginable, but for 5 years, he didn't hope to be Edison's partner. In his mind, he was Edison's partner already. Yeah, that sheer tenacity, holding that definite desire steadfast for half a decade. It eventually manifested. He got the partnership, and it made him wealthy.
5 years in a menial role, but with that vision always burning. That's incredible persistence.
Or Dr. Gonzalez, he was tasked with raising $1 million for a college. In a week. A week? $1 million? That sounds impossible.
Initially, it seemed like it, but then he reached a definite decision in his own mind to get the money within that week. He formed a definite plan, and in just 36 hours, he succeeded.
26 hours.
Yep. So this isn't just about wishing. It's about translating that desire into a concrete, unwavering decision and a clear plan. It's like it activates forces you might not realize you possess, and the internal switch flips.
Okay. So the core message here is clear then. Success isn't just about wishing. It's about a focused, intense desire that becomes, well, almost an obsession. And that manifests as a definite decision and an actual actionable plan. It's the starting gun for everything else.
Precisely, the ignition point. 2. Practical pillars of prosperity: saving, budgeting, and investing wisely. Right? We've established that initial spark, that burning desire. But a powerful engine still needs fuel, right? And a map.
Definitely. Desire alone isn't enough.
It's fascinating how the practical steps for actually accumulating wealth, whether you look at ancient parables or modern research, seem to align so perfectly.
Yeah.
Let's get into that foundation, because this is, where the rubber hits the road.
Absolutely. And The Richest Man in Babylon offers these 7 cures for a lean purse and 5 laws of gold. They sound ancient, but they're so simple, yet profoundly effective.
Okay.
The first cure, start thy purse to fattening, is incredibly straightforward. Keep 1/10 of all you earn.
Just 10%.
Just 10%. Truth is always simple, as the book says, but it's more than just a rule. It's a profound psychological hack.
How so?
Well, it immediately shifts your mindset. You stop being just a consumer and become a wealth builder. It creates this automatic, non-negotiable commitment to your financial future. Doesn't matter what your income level is. It's a small shift, but it's mighty.
It sounds almost too easy, though. Just 1/10. But I can imagine for a lot of people that feels impossible, especially when necessary expenses will always grow to equal incomes, as the book warns. That line feels particularly relevant today, doesn't it?
Oh, it's spot on. Absolutely spot on. And the second cure, control thy expenditures, tackles that challenge directly.
Okay.
that warning about expenses growing to meet income. It's a timeless observation of human nature, and, modern consumerism really amplifies it. Without a conscious decision to control spending, your financial output will just always match your input. It's not about deprivation, though.
Yeah.
It's about intentionality, deciding where your money truly serves your definite purpose, rather than just letting it, evaporate.
And this ancient wisdom, it connects directly to the habits of modern millionaires, doesn't it? It seems so counterintuitive to the image we often get from the media. The millionaires are actually more frugal.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about the daily habits of truly wealthy folks? And why does that misconception stick around?
Well, the biggest misconception is definitely that true wealth is built on lavish spending and, conspicuous consumption. Our media often portrays millionaires living these extravagant lifestyles.
Yeah, the flashy cars, the mansions.
Exactly. But The Millionaire Next Door just shatters that myth. It shows this perfectly with Dr. North, who proudly says yes, absolutely, when asked if he operates on an annual budget.
Really? A doctor budgeting.
Absolutely. And he's contrasted sharply with Dr. South, same profession, similar income, but Dr. South has no control over his spending, often outspends his income.
Wow.
We even hear about Mrs. Rule, an auctioneer with a $2 million net worth. She still meticulously budgets and clips coupons.
Still clipping coupons.
Yeah. And Mr. Bud, a decamillionaire, drinks free and Budweiser. He's not buying fancy imported craft beer. He's happy with something basic and free. These are not the lavish spenders we imagine.
So the Rolls-Royce isn't just a status symbol, it's actually a fishing deterrent. That's a fascinating way to reframe what true luxury means to these individuals.
Exactly. Most millionaires, we're talking 80 to 85% of them, are self-made, and they live incredibly frugally. Johnny Lucas, a $2 million millionaire, apparently looks nondescript, shops at JCPenney.
JCPenney?
Yeah, and never spent more than $235 on a wristwatch. Another one, Mr. Allen, actually refused a Rolls-Royce because, get this, it didn't fit his fishing lifestyle.
That's brilliant.
These are people who prioritize financial independence over impressing anyone else. They're driven by security and freedom, not status symbols.
So it really boils down to this. It's not just about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and then invest wisely. Okay, for someone listening who might feel overwhelmed or maybe thinking, I don't earn nearly enough to save 1/10, what's the first tangible step? How do you internalize this discipline? Is it purely mental, or is there a trick to breaking bad spending habits?
It's both, I think, mental and practical. The trick practically is often to automate it, make it non-negotiable.
And pay yourself first.
Exactly. Treat that 1/10 as if it was already gone, like a tax you have to pay. Set up an automatic transfer the moment your paycheck hits. Mentally, it's about understanding that every single dollar saved and invested isn't just money. It's like a tiny employee working for your future self.
Okay, I like that framing.
And this leads right into the third and fourth cures from Babylon, which align with the laws of gold. Make your gold multiply by making it work for you, like a slave.
Put your money to work.
Right. And guard it from loss by investing cautiously and seeking advice from experienced people. There's a strong warning against usurious rates and investing in things you don't understand. This principle of compounding and careful investment is just vital.
That's a really sharp distinction. You earn, you keep, you make it work carefully.
To illustrate, The Millionaire Next Door gives this great comparison. Consider Sharon, a high-income healthcare specialist earning $220,000 a year. Pretty good income.
Yeah.
But her net worth is only $370,000. Now contrast her with Barbara. Same income, $220,000, but Barbara boasts a net worth of $3.55 million.
Whoa, huge difference on the same income. How?
The key difference: Barbara minimizes her realized income, that's the taxable income, and she maximizes unrealized wealth appreciation. She focuses on investments that grow in value but don't necessarily generate immediate taxable income.
Ah, okay. Smart tax strategy built in.
Exactly. Sharon might have a fancier car or take more trips right now, but Barbara has built true, lasting wealth by efficiently managing and growing what she keeps. She ends up paying a much smaller percentage of her actual wealth in income tax each year. It's a masterclass in financial efficiency and, delayed gratification. 3. The power of alliance, persistence, and continuous growth.
Okay, we've talked about igniting that internal fire, that desire, and then fueling it with smart financial habits, saving, budgeting, investing. But, building anything truly significant often goes beyond just individual effort, doesn't it? Hill talks a lot about this mastermind principle. What does that actually look like in practice? How does it amplify what one person can do?
Yeah, the mastermind is a fascinating concept. It isn't just networking, like we might think of it today. Hill defines it very specifically as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose.
Coordination, harmony,
Because
definite
yeah,
purpose.
okay.
The synergy is key. Hill argues that a group of brains working together in harmony actually generates more thought energy than just the sum of its individual parts. Think about Andrew Carnegie.
The steel guy.
Yeah, he attributed his entire massive fortune not just to himself, but to his 50-man mastermind group, like a collective brain trust, all focused on his vision.
50 people, wow.
Or Henry Ford. His rapid strides in innovation and business really took off after he deliberately befriended and collaborated with giants like Thomas Edison and Harvey Firestone.
So it's about consciously choosing your circle.
Absolutely. Consciously surrounding yourself with people who elevate your thinking and your efforts, people who fill in your knowledge gaps, and who genuinely push you towards your definite purpose. It's strategic alliance. That collaboration sounds incredibly powerful, like creating a collective intelligence almost. But what about when things inevitably get tough? When that definite purpose hits a wall, which it always does. That's where persistence comes in, right? Is it just about being stubborn, or is it something more?
It's far more refined than just stubbornness, definitely. Hill calls it a state of mind, and importantly, it's one that can be cultivated and strengthened. It's that steadfast commitment to carrying through no matter what.
Okay.
Think of R.U. Darby, the guy from the 3 Feet from Gold story.
Oh, right, the mining story.
Yeah, he invested everything, drilled and drilled, hit a tough spot, and just quit. Sold the equipment for peanuts. The next guy drilled just 3 more feet and hit a massive gold vein.
Ouch, that's got sting.
Hugely. He lost a fortune then, but that gut-wrenching experience taught him an invaluable lesson. Stickability, as Hill calls it. He later applied that cultivated persistence to become a highly successful insurance salesman. He learned not to quit at the first sign of rejection.
So he learned from that failure.
Exactly. Edison, Ford, Fannie Hurst, Kate Smith, their stories all embody this. Their greatest successes often came literally just one step beyond where defeat had previously overtaken them. It's not just refusing to quit, it's learning why you might have quit before and building the mental fortitude to push past that point the next time.
So it's informed refusal to quit, learning from those setbacks. Okay. And what about acquiring the right skills and knowledge for this journey? Especially now, when the world is constantly changing so fast.
That leads directly into specialized knowledge and organized planning. They're inextricably linked to persistence, really. Hill states flatly, the way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge.
Continuous pursuit.
Yeah. He says the person who stops studying just because they finish school is forever hopelessly doomed to mediocrity, because the world around them just keeps evolving.
Harsh, but probably true.
Consider the example of the grocery salesman during the Depression. Lost his job. Didn't just despair. He went out and acquired specialized accounting knowledge, got familiar with new business machines, and started his own mobile accounting business. Served over 100 small merchants who couldn't afford a full-time accountant.
Wow. Turned a crisis into an opportunity.
Exactly. Through deliberate learning and a sound, organized plan. And Henry Ford's success, again, wasn't necessarily due to some innate superior intellect compared to others. It was largely from adopting a sound plan and following it meticulously. So this interplay collaboration through a mastermind, individual tenacity and persistence, continuous learning and strategic planning, it's absolutely crucial for navigating and succeeding. Really, in any environment, you stop learning, you start growing. That's the core idea.
Got it. Keep learning, keep planning, keep pushing. 4, navigating the pitfalls. Fears, alibis, and unintended economic support. Okay, we've laid out a pretty solid roadmap for success here. Desire, discipline, collaboration, persistence, learning. But the journey is rarely smooth, right? Let's talk about the roadblocks. There are some insidious internal obstacles that can really prevent wealth accumulation. Hill shines a big spotlight on the nature of fear. It feels like such a fundamental human challenge.
It is, perhaps the most fundamental. Hill identifies 6 basic fears that he believes cripple achievement. The fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
That covers a lot of ground.
It does, and he argues that indecision is the ceiling of fear. This indecision, this wavering, then crystallizes into doubt, and doubt eventually gives birth to fear itself. It's this vicious cycle that just paralyzes action.
Indecision breeds fear.
Okay. The fear of poverty, he notes, is often the most destructive.
Yeah.
He suggests it grows from man's tendency to prey upon his fellow man economically, creating this deep-seated insecurity about just basic survival.
And the fear of criticism. That must be a huge one for so many people, especially today, in an age where everyone's opinions are just instantly visible online. It can be debilitating.
It absolutely is. Hill says it can actually be stronger than the desire for success. Think about that.
Wow.
He even admitted his own initial reluctance to take on Andrew Carnegie's massive 20-year project, to organize the world's first philosophy of individual achievement, was partly due to his own fear of criticism. What would people think?
Even him.
Even him. His advice: remember that you have absolute control over your own thoughts. So if you want to conquer this fear, you have to, and I quote, put your foot upon the neck of the fear of criticism by reaching a decision not to worry about what other people think, do, or say.
Easier said than done, but a powerful idea. Make a decision not to care.
It's an active mental decision to reclaim your mental autonomy. And alongside these fears, Hell lists this whole host of common alibis, the I-5 statements.
Yeah, the excuses. If I had money.
If I only had time, if I had a better education. He argues his whole philosophy of success makes these excuses obsolete. It just exposes them as self-imposed limitations.
Right. It sounds like a form of self-sabotage, really. An excuse to just avoid the discomfort of growth and taking responsibility. But what about external factors?
Yeah.
Things that might inadvertently hold people back, even when people have the best intentions.
That brings us neatly to economic outpatient care, or EOC. This is a crucial concept from The Millionaire Next Door.
Economic outpatient care. What's that?
It's basically financial assistance given by affluent parents to their adult children. And the research shows it often hinders, rather than helps, the children's own wealth accumulation and even their productivity.
Really? You'd think getting help would be helpful.
You would think.
Yeah.
But it's often well-intentioned, yet the impact can be quite detrimental. The book gives examples like Mary and Lamar. They rely on Mary's mother for things like down payments, mortgage subsidies, essentially maintaining an upper-middle-class lifestyle on a modest income that couldn't actually support it on its own.
Ah, okay. So they never learn to live within their own means.
Exactly. It sounds helpful, but it prevents them from developing their own financial discipline, their own financial muscle.
So it's not just about the money itself. It's about inadvertently undermining their independence and self-reliance.
Precisely. There's another stark contrast in the book. Josh, he's an attorney receiving EOC from his parents. He has significantly less wealth than Henry, who's a teacher and received no EOC.
A teacher wealthier than a lawyer getting subsidies.
Yep. The research suggests parents who heavily subsidize their adult children's standard of living often produce children who are under-accumulators of wealth. They may even lack the courage to be truly self-sufficient.
Wow.
There's another example, Miss BPF. She's an entrepreneur still living at home in her late 30s, financed by her parents. The book notes she actually has more fears than typical self-made business owner.
Our fears. Why?
Because her environment has essentially eliminated all risk for her. This artificial comfort zone prevents her from developing resilience and courage. It actually makes her more susceptible to the very fears Hill talks about, like fear of failure or criticism.
That's fascinating. So for you, the listener, understanding these internal traps like fear and alibis, and also these maybe less obvious external pitfalls like EOC, it's absolutely crucial. How do we even begin to untangle these patterns? They seem so deeply ingrained both in ourselves and maybe in our family dynamics. It's easy to say stop, but incredibly hard to do.
Well, it really starts with awareness, just recognizing these patterns in yourself or your family dynamics. For EOC, it's usually a tough conversation, often requiring parents to shift maybe from providing constant financial aid to offering guidance and mentorship instead. Less cash, more wisdom.
Yeah, that's tricky.
And for the internal stuff, the fears and alibis, it's about rigorous self-honesty and then applying those principles we talked about: definite purpose, persistence. Each small victory against an alibi or acting despite a fear, it builds your confidence. It weakens their hold over time. It's a continuous conscious effort, really, to build that mental resilience and genuine financial independence. 5. Beyond money, the true meaning of a rich life.
Okay, so we've covered the mindset, the money management, the power of collaboration, getting past roadblocks. But Hill's philosophy, especially in Think and Grow Rich, it seems to go beyond just stacking up financial wealth, doesn't it? He delves into some more, I don't know, internal, almost esoteric aspects of human potential. How do these fit into achieving that truly rich life that, we're all ultimately aiming for?
Indeed. This is where Hill's work really reaches its zenith, I think, connecting the tangible, the money, with the profound, the internal. One surprising principle he discusses is sex transmutation.
Cis transmutation.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It does. Now, this isn't about repression or any kind of moral judgment on his part. It's about consciously rechanneling that incredibly potent creative and emotional energy, that intense drive associated with sex into your most ambitious projects, your problem solving, your business pursuits.
So harnessing that energy.
Exactly. He argues this focused redirection can amplify imagination, courage, and overall creative ability. It can effectively transform a natural, powerful drive into an engine for genius. He also highlights the profound, often unacknowledged influence of women in the lives of men of great achievement, acting as these emotional and creative catalysts.
That's quite a powerful and maybe unexpected idea, taking a primal force and directing it consciously towards creation. Okay. And then there's what he calls the sixth sense. How does that relate to our pursuit of a rich life?
Yes, the sixth sense. He calls it the door to the temple of wisdom. Think of it as developing an incredibly strong intuition, or like an antenna that picks up on possibilities and solutions that might otherwise be invisible.
Like gut feelings.
Sort of, but more refined. It's the receiving set for those sudden insights, plans, or thoughts that seem to just flash into your mind, those hunches or inspirations we often dismiss. Hill argues this faculty, which he links closely to what he calls infinite intelligence, can actually be cultivated by mastering all the other principles first.
So it's like a muscle you build.
Kind of. It's essentially training your subconscious mind to deliver creative solutions and guidance, often when you least expect it. He mentions Abraham Lincoln, for instance. He suggests Lincoln discovered and began to really use his creative imagination, his sixth sense, after the profound stimulation of love he experienced for Anne Rutledge. Hill attributes that emotional awakening to unlocking the genius that led to his greatness.
Wow. So the ultimate goal isn't just a bulging bank account, is it? It's something far more comprehensive. Self-mastery, intuition, channeled creative energy. How do we balance that pursuit of financial wealth with these deeper internal self-mastery principles? Is it an either?
No, not at all. It's not a balance, it's an integration. Hill's definition of a rich life is really about understanding yourself, understanding others, and understanding the immutable laws of nature to achieve not just financial success, but genuine happiness and fulfillment.
Okay.
And The Millionaire Next Door actually provides a powerful modern contrast here. Think about Mr. Friend, the guy who is possessed by possessions. He works tirelessly, mainly to impress others, has a high income, but never truly enjoys his lifestyle. He's rich in income, maybe, but poor in time and contentment.
Right, trapped by the gold handcuffs.
Exactly. Compare him to the self-made millionaires profiled in the book who prioritize financial independence and discipline over conspicuous consumption. They find joy in the building, the achieving, the freedom, not just in the spending. They actually embody the kind of rich life that Hill describes, beyond just the dollars.
So the true measure isn't just what you have, but maybe what you are and what you do with your potential.
Exactly. And Hill makes another powerful, often overlooked point. He says that competent brains, if effectively marketed, represent a much more desirable form of capital than money.
Brains over bucks.
In a way, yes. Why? Because brains, your knowledge, your skill, your creativity cannot be depreciated like assets can. They can't be stolen in the same way money can or spent into oblivion. Money itself, he says, is basically worthless as a sand dune until it's mixed with efficient, specialized brains driven by that definite purpose. Your ability to think, learn, adapt, innovate, that is your most valuable asset, far more valuable than any bank balance because it's the engine that creates all other forms of wealth.
Okay, that was truly a deep dive. Wow. From ancient Babylon's wisdom showing us the simple power of saving to modern millionaire habits emphasizing frugality and smart investing. All illuminated by Napoleon Hill's really profound insights into definite desire, persistence, and the power of the mind itself. We've seen these consistent threads across centuries, haven't we?
We really have.
Definite desire, disciplined action, and focused, persistent thinking, all aimed at, well, a truly rich existence.
And we've also seen how wealth is far more than just the money, isn't it? It's a mindset. It's a series of deliberate actions. And it's a commitment to continuous growth, self-mastery, and maybe understanding those unseen forces within us. So for you, the listener, as you reflect on all this, maybe the question is, what burning desire will you truly cultivate? And what unseen forces within yourself might you be underutilizing right now in your pursuit of a truly rich and fulfilling life?
Lots to think about there. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope this has given you plenty to consider and maybe apply in your own journey.